The Weaver of Whispers and the Gate to Aethelgard. Part 1. The Threshold in the Mist. In the forgotten corners of the Blackwood Forest, where the sunlight filters through the leaves like liquid gold and the air smells eternally of damp moss and ancient secrets, lived a girl named Elara. Unlike the other villagers who feared the singing woods, Elara found comfort in the silence. She was a dreamer, a collector of smooth stones and oddly shaped leaves, always sensing that the world she saw was merely a thin veil over something far more magnificent. One Tuesday, following a heavy rain that turned the forest floor into a mirror of the sky, Elara noticed something peculiar. A circle of mushrooms, a fairy ring, had sprouted overnight near the base of a hollowed willow tree. But these weren't ordinary mushrooms. They shimmered with a bioluminescent violet hue, pulsing in time with a heartbeat she could feel beneath her boots. Driven by a curiosity that outweighed her caution, Elara stepped into the center of the ring. The world didn't explode or vanish. Instead, it simply stretched. The trees grew taller, their bark turning to silver, and the gray mist of the afternoon transformed into a swirling kaleidoscope of iridescent dust. She had crossed the threshold. Part 2. The Arrival in Aethelgard. As Elara stepped forward, the ground beneath her felt like velvet. She was no longer in Blackwood. This was Aethelgard, the land of the fairies. The sky above was not blue, but a deep twilight indigo, even though the land was bathed in a warm, perpetual glow. 2 moons hung in the sky, one a pale crescent of bone, the other a vibrant orb of emerald green. Before her lay a valley filled with flowers that didn't just grow, they sang. Each petal vibrated with a soft, melodic hum, creating a symphony that resonated in Elara's very bones. "You are late for the nectar-tide, little wanderer," a voice chimed. Elara spun around to find a creature no taller than her hand, hovering at eye level. It wasn't the dainty winged human from the storybooks. This being had wings like a dragonfly, shimmering with oil-slick colors, and eyes that held the depth of a galaxy. Its skin was the color of bark, and its clothes were woven from spider silk and dew. "I didn't know I was invited," Elara whispered, afraid her voice might shatter the delicate air. "In Aethelgard, if you find the door, you are the guest of honor," the fairy replied, performing a mid-air somersault. "I am Pip. Come, the Queen's court is gathering at the Crystal Falls, and you won't want to miss the lighting of the star lanterns." Part 3. The Architecture of Light. Pip led Elara deeper into the realm. They passed through a city built entirely within the canopies of ancient, gargantuan trees. These weren't houses of wood and stone, but structures grown from living light and woven vines. Spiral staircases made of hardened moonlight wound around the trunks, and bridges of woven willow connected the high branches. Everything in Aethelgard was governed by different laws of physics. Water flowed upward in some streams, defying gravity to water the hanging gardens above. Fairies of all shapes and sizes flitted about. Some were fierce warriors with armor made of beetle shells. Others were scholars carrying scrolls of birch bark that whispered their secrets aloud. As they reached the center of the city, Elara saw the Crystal Falls. A massive waterfall of liquid light tumbled from a floating island high above, crashing into a basin of liquid silver below. The spray from the water turned into tiny, flying spirits that danced for a moment before vanishing into the air. Part 4. The Audience with Queen Lyra. At the base of the falls sat the Queen of Aethelgard, Lyra. She was not a giant, but she radiated a presence that made her seem larger than the mountains. Her hair was a cascading river of starlight, and her gown was made from the very fabric of the evening sky, complete with shifting constellations. "A daughter of the dust walks among the ethereal," the queen said, her voice like the sound of wind chimes in a storm. Why have you come, Ilara? Most humans seek gold or immortality when they stumble into our light. Ilara thought for a moment. She looked at her muddy boots, then at the impossible beauty surrounding her. I didn't come for gold, Your Majesty. I came because I always felt the world was missing its music. I think I found it here. The Queen smiled, and the emerald moon glowed brighter. Honesty is a rare currency. Many humans try to steal our magic, not realizing that magic cannot be owned. It can only be witnessed. Part 5. The Midnight Feast and the Shadow's Warning. The Queen invited Ilara to the Midnight Feast. Long tables made of polished obsidian appeared, laden with fruits that tasted like memories. There were sunberries that filled the eater with warmth, and moon plums that brought dreams of flying. As they ate, the fairies performed the dance of the aurora. They took flight in synchronized patterns, their trailing light painting the indigo sky with streaks of neon green, pink, and gold. Ilara felt a joy so profound it was almost painful. For the first time, she felt completely awake. However, even in paradise, there are shadows. Pip leaned in close to Ilara. Enjoy the light, Wanderer, but remember the law of the land. For every hour spent in Aethelgard, a day passes in your world. The veil is closing soon. If you stay until the second moon sets, you can never go back. Ilara looked at the beautiful, shimmering world. Here, she could be a part of the magic. She could fly on the backs of giant moths and learn the language of the wind. But then she thought of her father's tired smile and the smell of the hearth in her small cottage. She thought of the way the rain felt on her face back home. Not magical rain, just simple cold water. I have to go, Ilara said, her heart heavy. Queen Lyra nodded knowingly. The bravest thing a human can do is choose the ordinary over the extraordinary. The queen reached into her crown and plucked a single glowing strand of starlight. She tied it around Ilara's wrist. This is a weaver's thread. It will not give you power, but it will ensure you never lose your wonder. You will see the magic in the mundane, the gold in the straw, the music in the wind. Pip guided Ilara back through the silver forest. The violet mushrooms were beginning to wilt as the sun rose in the human world. Goodbye, Pip, Ilara said, stepping back into the ring. Until the next rain, Ilara, Pip chirped, vanishing into a puff of glitter. Part 7. The Echo of Aethelgard. Ilara woke up at the base of the hollow willow tree. Her clothes were damp, and the sun was setting over the blackwood forest. To anyone else, it looked like she had fallen asleep for an hour. But when she walked back to her village, she noticed she had been gone for 3 days. Her life returned to normal, yet it was never the same. She saw the way the dew captured the morning light like tiny diamonds. She heard the secret conversations of the brook. And sometimes, when the moon was just right, she would look down at her wrist. The starlight thread was gone, but in its place was a faint, shimmering scar, a permanent reminder that once she had danced in the land where the flowers sing and the water flows toward the stars. Ilara became the village's greatest storyteller, and though people called her the girl who spoke to shadows, she knew the truth. She was the girl who had seen the light, and she spent the rest of her days teaching others how to find the hidden doors in their own lives.